a single art complex does this really well. It's like a revenant jumps out of a wall. Ha ha!
Yeah, it's
You're like, cool. You just smack him. You know, like that's all. But then you go into the next hallway and it's like, well, here's a hidden carcass, a mancubus in a tight hallway that you can't really strafe his shots too much. It's like a confined space, and now he's more effective. And then that carcass is over there, giving you a hard time. So, limiting your movement even more. So the kind of general principle is like one more thing than the player can manage. If I give you one ball to juggle, not too bad. Two, not too bad. How about I throw in 2 plus a fire stick, or you're juggling 2 balls, and every once in a while I'm going to throw a knife at you. It's like, okay,
no.
now,
Ouch.
now it's like, okay, now that one extra thing, and the whole point, I'm engaged. That's it.
Yes.
And I'm forcing you to make a decision. So there's an encounter in the blood swamps with the wolf where you have one single turret outside of the green fog when you fight a marauder. Just one.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is a perfect example of that's the knife, that's the fire stick. Like you're juggling the 2 balls with the marauder, and you're like, I got this, and then we throw in the fire stick, and it's just like shit. Like like now I have to, it literally is one more thing than you can handle. That forces the player to kind of like the impact that has on the player's mindset, like how they're thinking about the encounter is like, okay, how do I have to take out that turret while managing him. Again, it's like one more thing that I could manage, and now I'm engaged. That's it. Like, because if I just had the marauder, it's like, ooh, it's a marauder in a tight space. That by itself is pretty good. That's pretty good. But yeah, that's just there to make you think.
And it's just that one little thing. It's how it's used. It's not just because it's a turret. It's because it's constantly raining fire, ducking down. You have a marauder. A good thought there.
Well, and I'll tell you, I think we've only just scratched this. Like, I think Tag 2 had some of the best smart encounters of the series. Like, I get it. Like, it needed to be harder.
Master levels.
But, yes, exactly. But, like, in terms of, like, here's Sludge with 2 Screechers and 2 Mancubuses. Go crazy. I love that we're able to piece all these things together to provide the player with these really moments of like, oh shit. One of my proudest moments is as a team, we love that platform with the 2 Marauders and the 3 Screechers. That's just a great moment of like, and look how far we've come. That's fucking 5 AI. That's nothing but simple fodder and 2 really hard chess pieces. Are we going to make more Marauders or characters like that? Like, of course we will. Like, because look at what we're able to do with that platform. That's why we do it. And honestly, I think we're just getting started. Our brains are like, what we saw at the end of Tag 2 was like, damn, like, we could do a lot with these chess pieces, and I can't wait to make those master levels. I mean, I think probably Jason O'Connell's going to make them, and, the guy's a world-class combat designer. And he and I were joking the other day that it's like, when we were making the Terrace Nabad, he was working on the Terrace Nabad master level.
Awesome.
It was just like, man, you miss all those chess pieces from DLCs 1 and 2.
They give you options.
So yeah, they give you lots of options. And one more thing than the player can handle, and do that sparingly. That's the thing.
Yes.
Like, no, okay, I'm gonna do that here. Maybe I need to follow that up with a white belt encounter. Just a single Hell Knight that they can feel good about themselves. That's all.
Restores their resources too. They can get those back.
It's a good Doom level. Kind of feels like you're going through a fun house. Like, a really good fun house where, like, it just keeps you on your toes. And not everything can be a jump scare. That gets fucking old, so, like, I think it's just, you never know what's around the corner. It's funny, it's scary, it's a puzzle, like, that's where I think we're at our best. But now we're starting to incorporate some real meaningful cinematic events with Eternal, where it's like blowing up Mars, or the Amora level where there's like a fucking invasion going on. I mean, I think that's where we are starting to get way better, is like really making the whole thing have a sense of cinema and scope to it that feels awesome.
And he meat hooks a pain elemental in a cutscene. That was really cool. I did not expect that. Really cool. Talked about enemy accuracy as a bell curve, and as the difficulty got higher, as you said, they became more accurate then. And you combine that.
I did not age well, and I don't like that.
So that's why I was curious if that was there. And things have changed.
I don't think that scales well, because I think that as a martial artist, right? I'm not a martial artist, but if you say, like, okay, treat it like a martial art.
Yeah.
I need to master the timing of how to dodge an attack. And once I master that, I build on my skill set where I learn to dodge more things and do more things. And if those variables change from difficulty to difficulty, it doesn't help with scaling. It also becomes extremely hard to balance that. Like the more variation there is in the way the AI behave from difficulty to difficulty, I can guarantee you it will get out of hand in Nightmare. And that's why Nightmare in Eternal feels so good, because we were able to balance Nightmare better. I didn't like how Nightmare was balanced in 2016. I mean, this is all hindsight 2020.
Well, yeah,
like, there's lots of stuff about Eternal that I don't like anymore. It goes without saying that like you have an opportunity to get some distance from the game. You can see it for what it is, strengths and weaknesses. And I think one of the weaknesses of 2016 is that the difficulty, there's too many variables on Nightmare.
That's one thing too that I've noticed too, because 2016 you had imps. They were the fodder enemies, yet they were treated almost like super heavies. Fireball doing 45, charge fireball doing 75. No soft saving throw or brink of death system. Speaking of which, whenever you get into that brink of death mode, is there any AI change? Some folks have speculated that enemies lose some of the aggression or tokens. Do you know if there's any change?
No, it's like a safety net that catches you, which is cool because it increases the drama for the player. Like it kind of like the fun zone, as I described it, when we were talking about it with the team, was like anytime I'm at the brink of death or near death, my heart rate goes up, engagement spikes.
Yes.
So if we can catch the player and hold them there at the brink of death, then that's where they'll be having the most memorable experiences. And the key is they come near death, but then they pull themselves out of it. Right. And the brink of death system, we know that when on 2016, you would go from alive to dead on Nightmare, and you would blow right past that brink of death. And that's where the fun zone is, because you're at your peak level of awareness. There's drama. There's good drama when you're down to 20 health, your screen is red, your heart is pumping, and you really need to find that imp to bring yourself back. So we want to really milk that moment for everything it's worth. On 2016, you just blow right past it. On Eternal, we have some things under the hood that are like giving you a little bit of help. Now, to all the Nightmare players out there, it ain't that much help, but it's some, and it does make for some interesting dramatic mode. There's more drama in Eternal as a result.
Pacing is more than just how many enemies you throw in. It's what arena you have them in. It's how you do it. And when you consider all these enemies and how they're thrown in, you have to figure out how they're going to attack the player. And something that I have been interested in as long as I've known about it is the token system. Started in June 2016 and carrying into Eternal. A lot of people haven't addressed it. So what is this token system per se? How did that get involved in the game?
I think Jake Campbell gave a talk at GDC about it, and so he really, a programmer should be here to explain in more detail how it works. But in generally speaking, it just allows us to say that not everyone will attack the player all at once on certain difficulties. So as on I'm Too Young to Die, you get all your heavies in an arena, but they have to take turns as to who gets to throw their attack at the player. Now there are some rules in place that say if you're right next to an AI or you're standing right in front of them, they'll basically bypass the token system and attack you, so that way you don't have instances where there's like an AI staring at you and then you're like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I'm just waiting for a token, so that they can override the token system when necessary to make the combat feel natural. But for the most part, everybody on the periphery and outside of your vision, they are taking turns attacking you on I'm Too Young to Die. They're also doing less damage. The big change from 2016 to Eternal, which TBD as to whether or not it was good or not, was I didn't want their accuracy to change too much from difficulty to difficulty. It bothered me that on Nightmare, I think Nightmare on 2016 is less balanced. Yes, it's easier because of the exploits that you have with the weapons, but the AI have raised their accuracy changes dramatically from Hurt Me Plenty to Nightmare in 2016, which I think that the reason why we see statistically, we track the results, that more people are playing the Eternal more times on higher difficulties than we saw in 2016, because the skills that you acquire in Hurt Me Plenty translate all the way up to Nightmare, because there's no variation in terms of how fast their projectiles are or how accurate they are.
That's
but
good.
What does change? It is good. I think it's good, right? It helps with replay value. But then on Nightmare, nearly all of the AI can attack you at any given time. And so battle mode, for example, there is no token system. They're all just going off all the time, which most battle mode players will tell you pretty fucking challenging because they never stop attacking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just a way, and what that does is it basically breaks it down into like, on Nightmare players are able to make more decisions faster under pressure. Like a Nightmare player can handle making split decisions, because every time an enemy attacks you, that's a decision that the player has to make. Do I dash? Do I do? And so on Nightmare, because they're attacking more often, you have to make more decisions per second, and then they hit harder, so you're allowed to make fewer mistakes. So that's the basic distinction: is that the token system allows us to apply that pressure of more decisions per second with fewer mistakes on Nightmare, and then on Easy, it's fewer decisions per second, and you're allowed to make more mistakes. That's like the basic difference between the two, and a lot of that is driven by the token system.
I did not expect that. Really cool. I do like the one thing that I noticed about the Marauder Screecher encounter is that when you get that first Marauder down to a certain level, the Baron spawns in. That is the Baron's trigger at a certain point, so it gives a dynamic feel because it's not just this enemy dies, this one spawns in. It's by health levels and other factors to bring it in. So it's good stuff like that help make an encounter.
Jason does that really well. Like a lot of what he does is he spends the time, and I think all of our best combat designers do, taking the time to like really consider when to bring in that AI. He's always really considering the audience and how they feel, and when is the right time to bring this in. I think it's a critical gameplay design and gameplay / combat design at id Software is a critical role. I mean, they're all critical roles: level design, game design, systems, weapons, AI, but definitely combat gameplay is one of them.
And it's everything. It's a big whole thing. I think it was it Chris Cantera that did the Marauder glory kill animation to where he grabs you, and just for that brief moment, you're equal. You're seeing that resistance against it, and so it all plays into this what Eternal is.
Yeah, that glory kill is fucking amazing.
I like it.
It's really good. They got really good at Alan's team, Alan Rogers, at just capturing, like, these are. Sync animations are nothing new. I mean, sync animations are in a lot of games, but I think that the guys that did the animators, they are really, really good at it. They know how to like leave you with an impression.
Oh yeah, and that's important. That's good because people, a year later, still talking about it, still on our minds. Click here to watch the full interview series next.